Dun-dun-dun-dun. All right, I'll just start over for everybody else who's watching outside. So welcome everybody. I'm Victor from Darksoil Studio. We're doing a build session today, and we're very happy to be hosting Arthur, who's coming in to share an idea for an application that he's been sitting on. And the idea for these sessions, in case you haven't seen them before or been a part of one, it's basically that we go through an application idea in the beginning of the session, and then Guillem tries to build as much of that as possible with the tools that we have for the time that we have. And then in the last 15 minutes or so, we publish the app to our demo app store, and everybody gets to play with the app. That's basically the idea. And it's been a lot of fun so far. So I hope it'll be good. Yeah, and basically I'll first invite Art to share the idea and share a little bit more about what he's been thinking and share some visuals. And then we will shift from that to go into Guillem building, and mostly he'll be building and kind of narrating what he's doing and ask Art any clarifying questions that will come up along the way. And then he can, I mean, you're welcome also Art, to ask any questions of Guillem of what's happening or the tools or any of that stuff. And the chat will be open for the whole session. So if you guys want to interact, that's definitely open for you. And I will try to respond to things in the chat as well. If some question comes up in the chat that feels really pertinent to the moment, I'll try to lift that into the room. Otherwise, it's the reason that we have a kind of silent room is that it's to give it a little bit of concentration for the building and just get a good flow of that. Okay, you can't unmute. So I can actually make
Cool.
you a co-host because then you can also share later.
Okay,
Cool.
great.
All right. I think that's about it. I'll put a link to the demo app store later on. So y'all can download that if you want to play with the app at the end of the session. All right. I think that's most of it. Do you have anything to add, Guillem, before I?
No, it's lovely to see everyone here and to
Yeah.
have all of you here. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Me too.
Great. Yeah, me too.
Right. All right.
And actually, just want to say I'm happy you're here, Che, because just recently in Boulder when I was with Will Ruddick, he said that you've been working a little bit with them, and I talked with him about this idea, like a lo-fi kind of accounting that you can piggyback on Twitter-like messages that could operate in an unreliable internet infrastructure, like in and he got sort of excited about some of the ways that you could do some of the community pool accounting on that. And so uh maybe you can also kind of take this and run with it, or help have a life beyond this today's session, which would be cool. Uh so that also gave a little bit of a preview. Just want to explain that a little bit further. The idea is that, you can piggyback. There were many years ago, there was a thing called Twallers that somebody made on Twitter, where they tracked when there was a Twallers tag hashtag in something, and this was before Twitter had hashtags. Um, and you could do sort of transactional kind of accounting, and you could go to a Twaller screen and look up your uh, uh, username, your Twitter handle, and see what Twaller's transactions you had done. And interestingly, you could do Twaller's with like he sort of would parse a grammar for the transactions. And so if you followed the grammar, you could actually do sort of numerical transactions. And if you didn't follow the grammar, you could kind of promise whatever the heck you wanted to. You could say a beer, or like whatever that you were offering up, and you put the Twaller's tag there, and it just tracked it as part of the things you promised. And so I thought that was pretty cool that you could just sort of really piggyback a very lo-fi sort of accounting view of transactions on a general messaging kind of tool. And I know that Darksoil has been looking at some things around investing some time and energy on a messaging tool that either may be resilient to spotty internet access or resilient to internet shutdowns, like for, activism or, things in an era where governments are getting heavy-handed with control. And so when I talked with Bear about that a couple weeks ago, I was like, let's play with this idea just as a quick mock-up of how this might work. Because I think they were talking about it like a shutdown resistant signal, is how at least how Bear was talking about it in that conversation. And the reason that I kind of like this more of a Twitter-ish frame than a signal frame is that if you want it to really be resistant to the shutdown kind of things, you really have to be able to relay it through people's um, devices when there's no internet potentially. Like I picture one of the things we've talked with some projects in Africa about. We started a variant of this on Musefeed. By the way, Gregory has a repo on his username on GitHub is Theta Sinner, Theta with a TH at the beginning. I don't really know what this is a reference to, the Theta Sinner thing, but he has a variant of this where we took Musefeed, that Twitter variant that we've created, and added a request promise grammar to it. We didn't get to the cache tag accounting, and Musefeed may be heavier than like more feature heavy and all that kind of stuff than you really need for this. So it seemed like a good opportunity to just kind of do a more from scratch, lighter weight variation. Um, and but what we talked with the communities about that came to the London Hackathon was how you could do something like take a battery pack and a Raspberry Pi and a hard drive, that had a Raspberry Pi that has Wi-Fi, attach it to a street cart vendor's cart who has a particular route that they're going, that they're literally like pushing a cart and selling things, and they're going by these other different spots that have a Wi-Fi router and like a hard drive plugged in or Raspberry Pi plugged in running a Holochain node, that then they become kind of the physical sneaker net relay thing that's like relaying information between these different points. So you've got the Wi-Fi hub at the bus stop and at the coffee shop and at the grocery store and at like the different places where people come, because the data plans are really expensive there. And anyways, so having an asynchronous infrastructure that's kind of broadcast, not focused on like on secret private message, but actually a news feed that you can also just piggyback some transactional stuff on, really feels like it's right for that kind of example. Because then you kind of expect things to be broadcast. And really what you're doing with such sort of weird lo-fi accounting is you're not, it's eventually consistent. Things may not have synchronized everywhere yet. It's a little sloppy and relying on people getting the grammar right and that kind of thing. You're not really relying on like cryptographic defense and double protections from double spends and all that kind of stuff. What you're really relying on is social pressure. You're relying on the fact that other people can look at the state of affairs of what you've promised and what you've done or failed to do and that kind of thing. And it's really for communities where there's still social fabric intact. It's not for some global, you know, trolling Twitter sphere, kind of thing. Um, anyway, that's the inspiration behind and the background behind. And then there's a couple of docs I created and shared just over the last couple days for Guillem. Should I share
Yeah,
screen?
let's do it. Let's have a quick look at the docs we're building
Yeah.
from. Let's see. Can you share, Scott?
Yeah. Uh, oops, that's not it.
No.
Strike that. How do I, there's the stop share. That's not the right window. I thought. Just make sure what I have as the top thing. Oop. Had a special window open just for this. Here it is. Okay. All right. So,
There we go.
actually, if I go into this mode, it's just a little easier to view. So just a little bit of context and overview. Enable lo-fi accounting carried via social messaging to activate better flows of value in communities, and just a little bit of expanding what that means. And then what are the grammars? How would this work? So the basic idea here is two different grammars, and you could in an ideal scenario, if you really wanted to invest time in making this a longer term project, I would love for it to be like multilingual and maybe even use some of the kind of extensible infrastructure that we're doing with raves, the records of agreement verifiably executed, that basically runs some things in Rye a bolt on to Rust at runtime, so that you could make extensible grammars. But today we're just going to start with two. We're going to start with this request promise and a sort of pay via cache tag grammar. Um, but you could do things like a scheduling thing where you could like announce an event and people could RSVP, and then you could have a view that's a calendar like view where you could see what events you'd RSVP'd to or scheduled and what promises you might have pending, and that kind of thing in a calendar. But sticking with just these, we've got a request type thing. Oh, and just a little note here and what I'm doing. So square brackets denote optional portions of a grammar phrase. And um, and then right now, what I'm doing is just starting with the first word as a keyword, but we could actually also do something like, make a special character, like a hashtag character that tells you what grammar the thing is using, like do a percent request or, percent promise or something like that, and watch for percent tags on words, and then know how to parse the thing. So request from a user, optional by a date or time, a description of whatever it is you're requesting. Pretty simple grammar, right? The main thing is you have to have the person who you're requesting it from, and optionally you right away the date or time, because if we don't have a by and a date, then we're just going to assume that we don't have to parse the rest of the sentence. And so similarly, accept, which must be a reply to a request. So you actually have to have a request, and then we have to know what request you're accepting when you accept. So now everything becomes optional. You could literally just type the word accept as a reply, but you can modify a date and time. You could use the same date and time, and you could modify the description, because somebody may make a request and you're like, well, I can't quite do the whole thing that you're asking, but I can do this part, or I can do what you're asking but by this date. So it lets you counter offer a little bit in the accept. um and then similarly, promise may be a reply to a request, but it also may just be a fresh promise. It may have not come from a request on the system. And you can say promise to this person by that date or time, optionally, a description of whatever you want. And then the thing that closes out a promise, so this one must be a reply to a promise, is a thanks. And you can do a mention and whatever. So this is after the promise is done, somebody thanks you for what was done, and that closes out the promise. And what I mean by closes out the promise will make sense when we look at the screens of what this might look like. And then we get into more advanced features that it would be possible, like accepting multiple words, like accept and accepted, or thanks and thank you, or like but we don't have to do all that today. We can keep it light.
Oh, I think even just starting with the first grammar might be
Might be all
good.
for today.
Yeah, might be. I don't know. We'll see what the time holds. I mean,
So
do you want to
the second one is just basically similar. It's just that you put a cash tag and a number in there, and that lets you then do accounting. And so then the idea is that there's some views where if you're looking at like an accounting scenario, you can see um, you can see the cash tag and what your current balance is, what the sum of all the ins and outs are, and a little preview with a like a what was your activity level? Is this is this like with how many people and how many interactions? And then I was gonna suggest a tiny um, set of thumbnails uh, to see basically to see the diversity of who you're interacting with, that you can see that it's not just all interactions with one person, or that you might be able to recognize some of your friends in there, or it's just a little bit of lightweight social information in here as like the cash tag lo-fi accounting. And similarly for the promise accounting, the idea is here, this is a thumbnail or a identicon for the person, and then what was promised, optionally the due date if a due date was in there, and then the action that might be pending to that request. Like maybe this is showing up in your outbound promises, but you haven't promised them yet. This is actually a still just a request of you, but it would be in your outbound promises, and then here would be inbound promises, like what's promised to you from other people. And then you have like an action to thank people. Um, and then after things age out a little bit, you could have like an archive where, like, let's say, for example, after 6 months, we say this is no longer an active, and we just collapse that information, and you can see how many were actually completed and how many, and you can also, when one is completed, you can just archive it potentially. Um, and this is really your outstanding promises or requests. And then if you wanted to drill in, this could be a link to drill in a little bit deeper to see some history about the person. And that's just kind of, and then you could have, I didn't even do a layout for the message feed, but it's just a message feed, right? It's just like a Twitter type of feed where here's the posts that you made, and there could be news and messages and invitations and requests and promises and cash tag transactions, but just the list of messages you've made. Um, anyway, that's the kind of quick idea.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, that's really cool. Guillem, what are you seeing with
Yeah,
this?
this is um, this is great. I have in my mind, I think pretty much everything that I need for today. I guess I have a couple of questions. One is, how would the input form for a message look like? Like, there is a grammar, but it's basically free form. So it's basically either you match it or you don't, and it's fine if you don't, but then you may be trying to match a grammar and you
Yeah.
fail. So how is the validation of that?
So to me, that has everything to do with how much time you have for UI development, right? So for today, it could just be a box and it's free form.
Yeah,
But if
agreed.
you want to provide a little bit of a helper builder for people, I don't know if you guys remember when like Venmo was a little bit more like that. It was a little bit more free form, but it had a helper builder where you could, start typing, and it would do a pay or a request, or that kind of thing. So you could, when you have time to make a more sophisticated UI, have the right kind of interface to have people not miss the options, and have a calendar date for the picker, like that kind of thing, and make it really easy
Mhm.
for people. But I think for today's purposes, it's fine to just have a very generalized.
Agreed. Agreed. Cool. If that's the case, okay, we'll get to it. But if we don't have a grammar enforcement, the request from add mention by date time, it's going to be actually difficult to know when the date ends. So, but we can look at that when we get there.
Well,
Cool.
again, for today, we could just make it a date and not a time. Like, you know, if that's going to make parsing easier.
Yeah, but there are multiple like date formats. You could like put like // you could put like Monday or whatever, right? But okay, let's see where we get to. And I think it's okay to start right now. Like I feel quite confident about everything that needs to happen. I'm just going to try to cut expectations in the sense that we have an hour and 20 minutes actually to develop this, because we want to play with it in an hour and 20 minutes to have 15 minutes to play with it. So first I'm going to focus on the request promise thanks, and then if we get to the cache tags, we'll see. But if we get to the request promise thanks, as of now, that's going to be like good for the time that we have. Cool. So should I start?
Go. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Nice. So here I'm going to be sharing my screen and like this, and then I need to okay, let's do it like this. Okay, and out with this. Okay, cool. So please, Victor, do interrupt me, or Art, do interrupt me if there is something interesting that wants to be talked about. Otherwise, I'm going to be just narrating a little bit what's happening here. Cool. So we want to start a new app. So I'm going to go to our full stack tooling here to build Holochain apps. I'm going to scaffold the teenage app, and I'm going to copy this command, and I'm going to go to my projects folder and start. Oh, first question, Art. We need a name. What's this called? Yeah, departments of name department.
Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just call it promises for now, or promise, or something.
Okay. Oh, my screen froze there. Interesting. Okay, so here. Okay, so promises. Okay. So app name promises, I like the npm. Cool, and I'm going to go in promises and finish up the setup steps here, and this is just a skeleton. Now, the first thing that we do normally in build sessions is figure out what modules that we have built are necessary for this application and scaffold them. Right now, I just want to scaffold the profile zone. So this is going to just give us like a create profile element and avatar for everyone and so on. So I'm going to go to the setup and run this command here. And actually, first we need a DNA. If we don't have a DNA, we can't add any zones. So it's scaffold DNA, and DNA is going to be promises as well. Yes, good. And now actually I'm going to scaffold the messages zone, which is the main zone that we have in our app as well. So messages, good. Scaffold integrity, yes, yes. Okay, good. And while we are at it, let's also scaffold the message entry type. So entry type, it's going to be message. And the message is just a body. In the future, it's going to also have a potential image art, or not even think about that.
I mean, yeah, you could potentially do things like that. But there's a message type that's just a body, and then I think there's the things that are the reply stuff. You saw that in
Right.
right down
Yeah.
below. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So for now, yeah, okay. So let's do it like this: fill name, Body, this is a string of a text area. Awesome. Now I'm actually going to scaffold the image hash as well, just to be able to have it later on, which is an option of an entry hash. Should a link from the image? No. And should a UI be generated for this field? Yes, which is an image. Cool. And then we have a reply to. So yes, and it's a reply to, and it's going to be an option of an action hash, which is the reply, the message that we are replying to. Okay, should a link from the action hash? Yes, please. Which entry type is this field referring to message itself? Okay, amazing. I think that's all for now. Body, image, hash, reply. Art, I know there are other message types, but the scaffolding tool doesn't handle enum entry types very well, and I suggest we do that later on, and for now just focus on normal messages, if that's okay.
All good. We
Awesome.
don't have to do quote tweets and all that kind of stuff yet.
Exactly. Cool, so I think that's it. Confirming they can be updated and deleted. Cool. Should a link from the original entry be created? Yes. Awesome, that's done. Now let's actually scaffold the, no, okay, sorry. Let's scaffold the collection, which we are going to call all messages. It's going to be global collecting messages, right? So this is the way to retrieve all messages that are scattered around in the network. And
Also,
now,
do you have
yeah.
to do the file storage one? It told you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks. I've run through this so many times that my mind knows how to do these things automatically, and I don't have to keep following the instructions. But yes, absolutely. So we scaffold the image hash here with an entry hash. It's told us, hey, you're scaffolding an image entry hash. So if you want that to actually work, add the file storage module to your app. So we are just going to do that. So scaffolding the file storage. And it's telling me it's going to add both the backend and the frontend to my app, and I am ready to continue. Cool. Running. Okay. Let's see. Right. Yes. PM, please. Okay. Awesome. And also the profile zone right here. So copy this and also run the scaffold. Okay. Exactly the same. Cool. Okay, so I think we have a pretty good skeleton right now. So let's start iterating on top of that, let's say. So first of all, I'm going to commit it. I don't want it to get lost. And now I'm going to move it to these promises. Let's go there. Promises, and I'm going to put up an editor. Cool. So next, develop. Okay, obviously there is a bunch of stuff that has already happened for us. One of the primary things is that we already have profiles management in our apps. So to finish that and comment this, if you choose the profile zone as your profiles provider, which we have, so importing the profile prompt from the profile zone, okay, that's good. And then we have here the profile prompt, the skeleton, that's cool. Okay, so here we go. This is our app right now. So if I add my avatar, Guillem, so this is all the profile zone, right? The profiles module. Yeah, it's already providing us all the right UI elements and connected to backend. Create profile, okay, awesome. I can go to my profile and see my profile, even updated. I can go back. Okay, cool. And now let's just at the start have the message feed, right?
Just to acknowledge that was like less than 10 minutes from
Yes.
you saying like 3, 2, 1 start, and now you're running an app that we can start to see some of the things in. It doesn't have all the rendering of everything we want yet, but yeah. Cool.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the point of having worked so much in and around the Holochain ecosystem, is that now we actually have this kind of tooling that makes it really quick and fast to scaffold something, both at the backend side and also on the UI side. Cool, thanks, Art. So yeah, let's focus first on the message feed. So I'm going to go to the routing here. Upa, ¿qué pasa? Vale. So to the routing, the homepage, yeah. So let's go to homepage and then replace this with the content of your app. So first of all, we are going to have a create message. And this is going to be just a column. And all messages, And these are elements that have already been created by the scaffolding tool and the custom template that we have for the scaffolding tool. So this is promises, right? Promises, messages, elements, create message is one, and then all messages. Okay. Okay, let's just try it. Cool, we can create messages. So here up top, we have a create message element, and it can create messages like right here on the bottom. You see the list of messages, right? Obviously, right now is like horribly blurred, but it works.
Yeah, we didn't make the image optional.
Didn't we? Didn't we? Let's see.
No, you made
Message.
the reply optional, but I don't think we made the image optional.
Oh God, that's okay. Hey, yeah, we did. We did. We are just lacking an if on the UI side. So let's add that actually.
All right.
Actually, I'm going to just comment out the image as of now. So this show image element, which like if I actually try it and I upload an image here, it actually works, right? This is coming from the file storage module, and it's already working, but let's not focus on that right now. I'm just going to display none. Okay, cool. Now let's improve this first view much more. Okay. Cool. So we don't want this body. We basically want like this, and I guess we need a row to say the agent avatar of who created it. So agent avatar, agent public key is the author of the record. An agent avatar is an element coming from the profiles zone. We need a bit of gap here. Yep. Gap, which can be like this. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's much more what we want. We don't want this, and we don't want this, right? Okay, that starts to look like a tweet. And then if I go to create message, let's actually do away with most of this. So rather than a label, it's going to be a placeholder. So what's on your mind? Do away with this. Do away with this for now. Style display none. Cool, that's better. Maybe don't have it as a card. Did I do something wrong? I think I did. No, I didn't. Interesting. Okay, and if I go to my home pages again and I flex basis, what, 600 and add in a gap. Okay, getting there, but not quite. Oh, and that's too big. Okay, align items. think it's this. Okay. What's the matter here? So we have a home page. This is a column. This is the okay top bar. Okay, so this is a column. Right, justify content shouldn't actually be here. It's align items center. Yeah, but okay, let's just have it be a width. Exactly. Okay, much better. So width and align items. Okay, and give it some padding as well. Okay. So here it's going to have what? Another. Okay, so we can see pull and create message. Yep. Okay, and if I reload, it's going to eventually be there. But if I reload, we have kind of a really primitive message feed. And I guess this create message can be as a row and actually be what? Let's have it be, yeah, line items and we can have this be a circle. This is all using the shoelace custom elements, which is the UI library that we love to use. Shoelace is awesome. Shout out to Shoelace. So send, okay, awesome. SL icon, let's see. Yes, this is kind of what I want. But obviously this needs to be occupying the whole thing. Yes, kind of like that. And is this like justify? We'll do it like this. Span style flex one span. Okay. Oh, and actually, the message list should be ordered in reverse. So it should actually be the latest come first, right? Do we care about that, or do we want to just go straight into the grammar thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty minor thing, and eventually you're probably going to want to truncate the list and
Yeah.
filter the list in different ways. So I wouldn't worry too much about the message list yet. But
Okay.
if it's easy to just switch the grammar, make it, descending by date.
No, you know what we can do? It's because here we can say flex direction column reverse because flex is awesome. Yes. Okay, done. So we just switched the ordering of the rendering on the rendering itself, not sorting the messages in logic, which is fine. Okay, cool. So we have now kind of a really rudimentary fit of messages. That's good. So now what should we make? Should we make like tabs here, and each like one
Yeah.
of the tab it's
Maybe
like
tabs on the top
promises?
for promises and cache, like feed, promises, cache tags.
Yeah. Okay, so for this, oh, and I missed. Okay, I'm just going to have it over here. I'm going over to the shoelace documentation to just copy over some tabs like this. Okay, so in the content, we are going to have tabs. And one of the tabs, the first, it's going to be a feed. feed, and the feed is going to have all that we just coded. Style flex. One, good. How does that look? Not yet, because we haven't imported shoelace, the tabs, the tabby, 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 tab. So tab, group, tab, group, tab, panel. Okay. What's up with that? Don't we have our groups and everything we need? So if I go to this thing, yeah, SL tag group. Ah, yeah, okay. No, not really. What did we?
Did you just reverse the order of it?
I declared the tab title, I declared as the actual content. So I need to do it like this, right? Yes, good. And now I'm going to say placement start. I think it is good. And now I don't like this anymore. This should actually be inside of this thing here. Epa. Cool, cool. Yeah. Okay, getting there. And now what? Promises. Promises. And we need something like this with promises. And here it's similar, but it's something like a row with inbound. Let me take a look at the screen again. And no, outbound promises first. Outbound.
But that's a column, right?
Promises. No. So
okay.
What I wanted to do, like if I, because the thing is that I can actually wait. I should be able to just do it like, oh, no, I can't. Cool. So my Zoom is behaving quite weirdly, and I can't really share my other screens with you. Let me actually stop share and try again. Okay, cool. Okay, there we go. So this is a column, but this whole thing is a row of two column things. Cool. So when we have outbound promises and inbound promises. So let's go ahead and create our outbound promises. So UI source promises. No, I think it's okay to do it. Outbound promises. And if anyone's wondering, we are using it as our JavaScript framework. Basically because of its custom elements first nature, which allow us to basically build once and reuse all our UIs across any web rendering engine that we want. Cool. So this is outbound promises. Export class outbound promises. Signal watcher of lead element, and we are using signals as our state management layer, which is part of the teenage stack that we use to build our Holochain apps. It's a really simple primitive of just being able to set state and get reactively updated whenever that state changes. Also app styles, cool, and how this component is going to be rendered, we'll define in a second. So this is a skeleton of a lib element. Awesome, awesome. And now I'm going to consume, this is a mini dependency injection primitive that lib has, and I'm going to consume the messages store. Messages store context. Messages store. Cool. And now I want to be loading my inbound promises. Okay, so here we want, first of all, we want to get all the messages and then filter them. And this is the pattern that we'll do for today. Like later on, we can add more sophisticated. Yeah.
I think you have to be my outbound because you have that inside the outbound class.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. So right now we just want to get all the messages and just filter them. I know that's potentially really expensive if like this app has thousands of users, but this is actually not our use case. So in our use case, it's normally the case that in our node, we have all the messages already gossiped to us because we are not assuming we are connected to a huge amount of nodes. So it's basically free to just load all the messages because you have them on cache. As I said, in the future, this can be improved, but for now, it's totally fine. Cool, so what I'm going to do is this store all messages, and what this is an async signal that it's going to, whenever it's called, it's going to get all the messages and keep polling them to get to keep them up to date. So all messages
Just
is
a clarification for people watching. This is a local get because Holochain is running locally. It's not like you're pulling all that information over the network. It's really just the UI making a local data.
yeah, exactly. Thanks, Art. Absolutely. Okay. So we want the latest version. So here we have an all messages collection, which is going to give us a list, map really, of the messages for which we can have latest version, original, or revisions. We just want the latest version. Okay, so let's do something like if all messages status is not completed, which means that it's still loading, or maybe it potentially has an error, we just return that. Okay, so here we say const latest version of all messages. And here this is going to just be quite a bit of jargon, but we are converting that map. So this is a read-only map of each action hash, which is the first create action hash, to this object here, so that we can get, if we have these messages, we can get the latest version. So map values with all the messages map. Now map values of messages message latest version get. Cool. Same as above. Is this if this thing has an finish loading? And what all the signal stuff is going to do is it's going to duplicate all the work that's not necessary to do both twice. Like if we have the feed here rendering all the messages already, it's going to be stored in this class over here in this messages map, so that whenever we request it over on the promises side, that's already there and cached and ready for us to go, right? So it's going to duplicate all that effort for us. Okay, cool. So now we have all the latest version of the messages. So now what we want to filter is, actually, we want to reuse this, no? Let's see. Yep, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the messages store and say all messages latest version, which is going to just be an async computed, doing exactly what we were talking about doing. I'm just extracting out what we were doing in the element for it to be on the store, because then we are able to
do an inbound version and an outbound version, right?
Yes, but more than that, first of all, I'm going to filter by the grammar.
Okay.
So let's see. First of all, we need what was before the promise. It's the request. Okay, so all requests. And all requests are going to be all messages, this all messages latest version. If this hasn't loaded yet, just return this. And now we can filter here and we can say something like,
can we filter by who the request was to?
yeah, we can do that, but I'm planning to do this below, like
Okay.
request by, no, or request to, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We can do that like this. So we say for this agent, which is an agent public key, we are going to be getting all the requests and just filtering them, right?
Okay.
So here what we are doing is building these really small and composable pieces of state that are going to keep up the most up-to-date state relevant piece of state for what we want. And then we can subscribe to it and pipe it, do a bit of filtering, and then pipe it to the UI element. So let's go ahead and filter this, and I'm going to, I think we can just pick by, right? Yes, pick by all messages latest version. Don't we have a, no. Pick by message and message, no? Sorry, this is all messages. Message.entry.body. Do you think of a better way to do this than Regex?
Only if we did parsing upon storing and we actually made some other fields or something, which we didn't really create in the data structure, but
Yep. I think this is, I honestly like Regex quite a lot. I know people are very scared of them, and I understand why. But I think it's fine most of the time to just use them. So requests, call, and we can just return those status completed value requests. So request from, and then I'm going to say, for now, let's do it like this. Why is it complaining? ¿Qué te pasa? It's not signable. Because this needs a boolean. Okay, cool. And now here we are going to get our requests. So all requests, and if all request status completed, this is already starting to be familiar, I guess. And now for all request, I'm going to do a similar thing here. and I'm going to say pick by or requests. This is a message, and now, I guess there is no much use to separating them. I guess there is not much use to separating them. No. Okay, Art, you win this time. It's okay. So I'm using what Art said is basically what I'm going to do. So I don't want or request because it's actually the same regex match that needs to happen. Like it's right. It's like request from and then the public key. So this is a new async computed. Cool. And now this is going to yeah. Interesting. I cannot do this, can I? Obviously I can't. I need to build a regex interpolating in some value.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
from are going to be the author, right? And requests to are going to be in the content.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, but we need requests too, no? To do the inbound.
Yeah. Yes, for inbound.
Just trying to go step by step. We don't actually have an inbound request view.
Well, an inbound request is in the would be an outbound promise, right?
Okay. Understood. So this is request too. Yeah. Got it. And I think we can do it like this. Although to be honest with everyone, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll just gonna try it out. So agent, and now this is going to be regex. Okay, cool. And now this is request to and outbound promises. So I'm going to say here outbound. For now, it's going to just be requests to me. So outbound promises is okay. So my outbound promises is this dot request to me. Beautiful. Okay. So request to has built a map that automatically gets initialized with this function whenever it gets requested. And here we are just requesting it with our public key, right? So here we are constructing
we want to make it so we can use that same construct to look at anybody's.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So this dot store dot my inbound promises. Okay, and now I need a switch. Get me a switch. Thank you for the switch. This is just so common that I just copy paste. So this is message, but now it's outbound promises. Cool. This is internationalization stuff, error fetching the outbound promises, and now this is render outbound promises. Render outbound promises with, and this is a Holohash map of action hash and entry record of message. Actually, message. Where do we have our message? It's here. Okay, cool. And let's see. This is actually we need the if it's empty, then render it, it's empty. So if promises size you have no outbound promises. Cool. And now we should render them in a column. This is the column that you wanted, Art. We are going to be joining. Yeah, I think it's fine to just join here. Lead directives join. Cool. We are going to be joining objects, object.entry. Oh no, this is different. Opa. This is array.prom promises entries. And we are going to, each of them, it's going to be like hash and message to HTML. Actually, I don't want this here. This that render outbound promise, which is hash message. And we are going to just join them with a divide. You don't want it like this? How do you want it? No. Okay, it's only one argument. Yes. Okay. And now we want to render outbound promise, which is a hash, action hash, and a promise, which is a message. So return HTML, and this is where, opa, ¿qué pasa? Cool, this is where I'm going to just take a look at the, okay, so we have the agent, we have the description, and we have an action, which is accept. Okay, that's fine. So this is going to be a row. Yeah, align items center with some gap as well. It's always to have a little bit of gap. Agent avatar, so rendering the avatar of the author of that promise. Let's see later on if we need to switch, like depending on the step of the process, this might not be right, but for now we are just going to,
if it's a request, then well, yeah. Our outbound promises we're the author of. The inbound requests, they're the author of. So yeah. Depends on if it's a promise or request.
yeah. So we'll keep building on that. For now, I just want to have a first promise, first request show up here. So now this is going to be promise.entry.body, and I know this is not exactly right, but we'll see. Okay, so now if I come here and I say request from, and right, because the create message needs to be a text area with mentions, which is coming from the profile zone. This is still really early days for that element, but I'm quite happy to have it actually. So the profiles zone, these elements, text area with mentions. Okay, awesome. Let's see. So request from and no, oh, and it's not showing up, and we might have a bug in that element. So request from another. I do think we have a bug in that element. Oh, okay. What what's that?
Close.
Yeah, what I can do though is I just go here. Let's try to fix it. So I'm just going to copy it over, and you don't watch. You don't notice me doing a little bit of cheating, and text area with mentions. As I said, it's really early days for that element. It's expected for it to be a little bit buggy. Text area with mentions, no? Text area with mentions. Yes, but it's on the top level, so like this. No. So if I go to text area with mentions, all of these are going to come from profiles zone. Here's the profile store context, profiles store. Yes. And now I need the elements agent mention, and I also need the search user dropdown. Search user dropdown. Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. Cool. And now this is expected to fail, actually. Let's kill this. I don't want it now. So, no. So, fails on line 189. Undefined is not an object. Let's actually go and see what this is about. So if I see the drop down and I know. Yes, okay, this is defined. What about this then? No, this is undefined. Am I just missing the import? Oh, I think that's the case. Okay.
Well, not a bug after all, just a missing element.
Yeah. Well, don't go too fast. Handle trigger, key down. I need to bring in all these elements, no? I see. So I need to import a bunch of stuff from shoelace, which the element itself is not importing. And this worked before because it was importing the elements from some other source. So this just needs a little bit of cleanup. Okay, and if I go here and no, there, boom, yes, nice, cool. So we have that element working now. And what it's doing is it's translating the profile here that you see onto the public key of the agent when it actually stores it. So I'm going to head and just reboot the app for now because I killed one of the two agents. Okay, so ASDF and Q were T, cure. Cool. So now if I do request from at keyword, oh, Weird side effect. So if I click on this, then this works. Okay, interesting. If it happens again, we'll have to look into it. Request from keyword, and I commit this. Okay, this is what actually, oh shoot, we have this NBSP. Let's actually remove this for the purposes of today. So NBSP, this was to improve user experience on this little element. Yes. Cool. Because that would totally break our regex. So request from no, it's not another anymore. Keyword, thanks. Keyword, cool. This should fit the grammar. Like it doesn't have anything else than the grammar, but it should. So let's actually go and try to render it. Okay, so now the tabs are not working. And this is why, because we haven't made them work. So if I go to promises, okay, and I need to import the elements, outbound promises, cool. Okay, now I'm confused because both of them matched. And I didn't expect this one to match. So let's actually not follow the grammar. So
Yeah, exactly.
not grammar. Okay, yeah, so it's matching the grammar, but I think it's potentially matching the grammar anywhere. Yes, cool. It's matching the grammar anywhere in the message. Like
You might need to put $$ at the front for the beginning line start.
Yes. So let's go to that. Regex. No, I don't think this dollar is being treated properly. So yeah, the flags. I know how to do this in normal mode. I don't think I know how to do this in interpolation mode. So
We
what
have to
kind of
backslash the dollars because
what's that
dollars
backslash? Backslash the dollar. Okay, let's see about that. That's an interesting theory.
I don't know. I think that would
No.
that might just match a dollar character instead of
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So okay. Match beginning. Okay, now I'm Stack Overflowing. Okay, maybe the white flag. Nope. Hey, it's not the dollar, it's this at the beginning. Yes. Okay, it wasn't the dollar, it's the hat thingy. I don't even know how to call it. This is how you match the initial. Cool, so we have a request from this user. No, actually, this is us, right? The user that made the request is rendered in the avatar here. Okay. And this should be a row. Why isn't it a row? Why are you not a row? Why are you not a row? App styles. Ah, styles. Cool. So now we have a row that's little closer to this. I guess we need to only show the rest of the request, not the whole thing. Okay. So we are going to say something like column. Just going to put a title here, title, span, and the title is going to be outbound promises. Okay, cool, outbound promises. And now we need to render. Okay, so we are going to say something like const promise description is going to be promise dot entry dot body dot match. And now we can just request from and then this is going to be, we don't really want this, so it's going to be I have this one here, right? Yeah, okay. I used.
Yeah, I was going to say in the Regex frame, can you name the remainder portion of the match and then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this should be fine. And then let's just console log what comes out of this. It's null. Why is it null?
Because you don't have anything following, you don't have anything following the request when you made it. You need to actually put
Yep,
what you request.
that's like, that may be a reason. Yep. So request from a viewer. And what's
Mow my
that?
lawn.
What's that? Muy malone. Yeah.
Mow my lawn or something. Yeah.
But this is where it actually was necessary to have the NSVPs. So NBSP request from viewer. Mo is Mo written like this?
Yeah. Just like
Okay.
now, just not pronounced the same way.
Yeah, I see.
It's like English, all makes sense.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. Okay, cool. So now this is actually a good request and this is not being catched. This now this match. Okay, let's see. Does it catch the request? Start with request. Yes, it does. Does it match the request from? Yes, it does. Does it match the start of the public key? Yes, it does. So there is a problem with this regex here. Not telling it to end like that. Request from this.
Does it recognize the
Oh,
does
sorry.
it recognize the non-breaking space as white space? Or are those characters that the regex doesn't recognize as white space?
If we do it like this, yeah, it doesn't recognize them as white space. Okay, but match. Okay, so now we are matching, but actually we want, this is not enough for us to match, right?
Actually, your top view is on the feed at the moment, not the promises, so it's hard to see what's matching.
I'm logging
Yeah,
the
yeah.
matches here, but it's like, no, it's actually it's just telling me that it matched, but I don't want, it's search. No, it's not search. I don't want the fact that it matched. I want the actual capture. What is it? Match. Why is this? Regex match. Regex match. Okay. JavaScript match. Fine. Yeah, exactly. It's exec, or we need like this. Okay, and now regex.exec like this. Yes. Okay. Well, closer. Amigo mío. Okay. The NSBP is being tricky here.
Right, because it's not white space.
Yes. Let's see. But if I do it like this, then it doesn't like that, right? And then I can't really move over to the other side, actually. And be no, it's still the same.
Can you do both? Can you do both?
What do
You
you
get
mean both?
so that you have both the blank space and the NSMBSP. Does that help the thing or no?
This is both.
This is both.
This is both. And I can try like this just for the purposes of today. Okay, I mean, it's a little bit better, but not quite.
Can you start it with the regular space?
Oh, I can do something better, actually. Sorry. I can do something better, which is when you actually get the value, you replace the NBSP by an actual space, right? Yes. Nice. Okay, we have it. Now let's go back here and let's say this is the promise description. No, promise description 2. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Let's add a little bit of gap there. Cool. Starting to get there. And then I have 15 minutes only. Let's do the accept and inbound promises, and let's call it there, I think.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. So now this is SL button. Accept. So now if we click this accept button, I'm going to message, no, this.store client, create message, and the body is going to be the thing we are replying here, right?
Yes, it's a reply. And, in the long run, it would be like you could edit the terms of the accept, but for now, we could just commit an accept message.
Yeah.
Like,
Awesome. And the accept looks like accept. And that's that.
I mean, you could edit the date or the what it is that you're accepting the promise of or a request of, but for now, we'll just say accept.
Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. Okay, maybe I shouldn't even be doing this, but the target as a button because I wanted to loading. It's true, and then you do that, and then you don't load anymore. Async, await. Cool, and now that's for the outbound promises. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Style flex 1. This can have a variable primary. Okay, good. Starting to look good. And now let's clone this into our inbound promises. PS out. Bound, it's going to be changed for inbound. Inbound. Change. Inbound. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Eventually, we're gonna want to filter on what kind of action is available, but
Yeah, 15 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Not today.
Okay, and now let's go to the store. And now let's see. These are promises to me. So promises to, and then this is accept. Careful here. Okay, so promise to actually doesn't contain the thing
No.
in the content. Cool. So we need to do smarter filtering. So let's messages is a follow hash map or action hash entry record message, which is a new follow hash map. And now let's say for const hash message of all messages value entries. And I think this needs an array from the JavaScript vanilla map type is a little bit hard to work with, but it gives us slightly better guarantees than just a regular object. So that's how that's why we use it. So this is like if the message actually has a reply.
No. I mean, it would be promise. It'd be promises that I made, or accepts. Right. Wait, this is inbound. This is inbound promises, right? The promises someone else made to us, where we're in the to position, just like in the requests to, we're in our inbound. That would be promises to instead of requests.
Right. So there's actually two sources of inbound promises. One is requests that we make to someone else.
Yep.
Cool. So that's
For promises that they made and have been accepted.
yeah. So that's if they haven't been accepted, they shouldn't even be rendered.
I don't think so.
Okay. Cool. So okay. So that's actually we can just reuse the my outbound promises, which is what we just did above. So let's get my inbound promises. And again, if the inbound promises, inbound promises completed. Okay, so now let's see. For all the messages, if they are replying to one of our requests.
No, they may be replying. They may just be making a fresh promise to us. That's going to be the easiest kind of render. We should just do just the flip side of the request. Same regex. Somebody makes promise to us. We render it here.
Oh, you know what happened? I was looking at accept, not promise. Okay, I was confused. So when is an accept a promise?
If you accept a request, it is a promise. Yes. But let's just, for today, just do the flip side of the regex that we did for requests for the moment.
Yeah.
The things where somebody promised to us at the moment.
Yeah. Cool. So this is really simple then. Yeah. Sorry, Art, I was confused. So this is really promises to minimum promises, and this is like promise to. Yes, good. And now promise to, and this should be pretty much good to go. Inbound promises, okay. You have no inbound promises. But what if I what if I promise to you were to bring the water back?
Bring water back. Great.
Okay. Awesome. But it's really weird to accept a promise to you. Like, yeah.
Well, that's where that should be a thank you button
Thank you. Right.
and that will mark it complete. The promise is done. Or thanks. Make it.
Thank you. Thanks. And I guess we can make it like this. Okay, so thank you. Cool. They are not being like they are still rendered, right? Even though they're kind of completed.
No, I personally think they should go away if they've been,
Right.
but because it's no longer an inbound thing, it's now an archive. But we're not going to get to the archive today, I don't think.
No,
So
we are not, but we have 5 minutes left. And like
well,
this thanks work, accepting works, but it doesn't show what's being replied to. So we could try to do that.
okay, that would be helpful. Then people would understand what was accepted and thanked for.
Yes. So how should that be rendered though? Should it be rendered just below? Yeah, okay. So message summary. So we are rendering the summary, and if there is entry, record, entry, reply to, if that exists, we are going to render a message summary. Let's just try like this, see what happens. Maybe it's too convoluted, I don't know. So summary, message summary. Oh, that's cool.
Great. Cool.
Yeah, I think we should call it. Victor, what do you think?
I think that's a good spot. Let's see if
Okay.
we can package and play with it and
Okay.
promise each other
Awesome.
people.
Oh.
Promise each other things.
This is the playground. I don't want the playground right now. Where do I have? Here we go. Cool. I'm going to commit
Okay.
it.
And I'll share again in the chat the demo launcher where we'll upload it. So if somebody wants to promise things to each other, let's get in there.
I'm going to, while I am packaging on the left, I'm running the demo launcher on the right. Okay, so here we go. This is our demo launcher. Let me go to publisher dashboard and then create app. And this is like promises, and I just can take the description, right, which is community coordinator app in the style of simple messages. Cool. Oh, and we don't actually have an icon, do we?
I don't think so.
For the app. Okay, let me see. Do I have something? Could be, maybe it is this. No, definitely not this one. What's this one? No, same. I don't think I have an appropriate image. Just the Holochain logo.
Sure.
Use.
Okay, just the Holochain logo. Cool. This already got packed, so promises. Okay, we have no releases yet. New release. Going to select my app bundle. Let's see. So projects, promises, work deal promises.webhub, and this is version 0.0.1, first release of the app. Okay, wait for it to be uploaded. Cool, cool, cool. Create hub release. And okay, here we go. I just published the app. It may take a minute for it to get gossiped and propagated, but everyone that has installed the demo launcher should be able to see it eventually. Here we go. You can see it here and you press install and it's going to download it and install it.
I can see promises and I'm installing it.
Awesome. Yay.
Still waiting for it to propagate to me.
Okay, hub installed successfully. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is my published promise screen. Okay, so this is me. Cool. Oh, right. We don't have a way to list all the agents, so we may have to like tell each other the profile, the nickname. Otherwise, it like I
Can
can
write it.
spend all my day here trying to like Victor or like who's here? You know, I don't know.
Can write it in the chat of the Zoom meeting to have a name.
Okay.
Mine's still trying to install. I might have clicked it too early. Yeah, it says error installing the app. It might have shown the listing, but not had the installable code yet.
Yeah, the installable code is actually stored on one file storage service node,
Okay.
but it probably is a thing of you got the link, but you still didn't get the entry with the file hash.
It's installing on mine now.
So if you should
Steven
be
is
able to try it
struggling.
then.
Steven got the launcher running, but he got a runtime error, missing an icon.
Okay.
Gregory's got called
Gregory's.
Theta. Theta. You can see if you can find him.
Yeah. And now it's running and I am setting up. So Gregory is Theta. If you want to do a transaction with Theta.
Like this?
Hang on. Yeah.
It's not finding it. Not yet. Did a little refresh. Let's see. No, not yet. Let me know if you can find me, Gregory. And even if you can see my first tweet. Keep trying.
Gregory can see the message. I can maybe
Okay.
I can okay, if people want to, let me try it. And people can unmute themselves. If you want to speak, Gregory, you can do that.
I'm Art Rock. If you actually put the mention in, then it what? A little bit clunky on some of the div things.
It's not finding a lot of users for me, but
Um, I don't know if case matters, but it's lowercase for me, Art
Oh.
Brock.
No.
You're not seeing our tweets. You're not seeing our messages. I'm seeing
No.
Victor's.
oh, you're seeing mine?
Yeah.
And you're also finding people. That's like, can
Oh,
you
let
share
me see.
yours and let's see if it's
Well, let me see if I'm finding people. Hold on.
Well,
So
I see mine. I see Art. I'm Art Brock. I'm a blunt is public key. Victor's high, and who's the spinning top that says "Hey everyone"?
It's me. That's me.
Is
that's
that you?
Guillem.
Okay.
Okay, and I can see Gregory's seeing a bunch of stuff also shared in the chat.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's taking a while, but it's eventually gossiping.
I'm not seeing
Eventual.
Victor or Theta yet. Oh, wait. Vic. And there's Alex. Ben, let's see. Steven. No.
Me try to inspect actually. So
Oh, I got Victor.
So I made a
Oh.
promise to Art, and when I look at my outbound promises, I have none. Is that because he hasn't accepted it?
Did you say promise to?
I made a
just see
promise to
promise.
you.
I know, but you
It says
didn't say
promise,
promise.
take out your trash.
Okay. Promise to Steve. I'm not seeing Steven. I'm going to promise to. Who did I just see a second ago?
Or
Victor.
you could try typing my name and see if it shows up, even though you don't see me.
Okay.
Oh, it's okay. Is this the DHT syncing up? Finally, I see hello everyone, I'm Theta.
yeah,
That just showed up.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so what's happening so that everyone like knows a little bit like what's happening and what to expect is first of all you create a message then that gets appended to your chain, and actually I have the playground here. This is the live view of what's happening inside. So here on my source chain you get the messages appended to. So for example, no, this is not actually. Oh, right. These are all the apps that I have installed. Huh. Right. Okay. Let me actually uninstall all the other ones so that we can see much clearer. Okay. Refreshing this. Cool. Yep, exactly. Okay, so this is exactly the problem. I'm seeing the problem right here. So on my left, I have my own source chain with hey everyone here, but on the top right, I see everything that's being committed to the network. But actually, my view of the network is just my things. These are all only my things. I am not getting anything from you that's being gossiped to me. Once I actually get it gossip, and let's fingers crossed that the refactor that has been done in Holochain fixes this kind of experience. I'm not sure if you wanna comment on that or not, Gregory. But once the gossip happens, then let's see, where is it? Okay. This view is polling every 20 seconds. It's making a new request to see if there is any new message. So get all message, but every 20 seconds, right? Not to waste too much power. So this is why I only see mine, but other people.
Starting the launcher just to see if it reestablishes network connection. It's weird that you don't have anybody. I'm getting lots of messages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot in my feed, but I've made 2 promises and 1 request, and nothing is showing up in the inbound or outbound.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you actually want to share your screen, Stephen? See what? I'm not even sure if you're able to.
I think you should be able to now. Yeah.
I can. I have a similar thing. Okay, but Victor has upgraded Steven's permission.
Here we are.
It's likely that it's a regex mini character issue or something like that.
Oh, and now there we are. Is it sharing now? Yes.
Yes.
Should be sharing now. Okay.
Cool.
So nothing in my promises. And here's, I requested, oh no, that was art. Where's, oh, here, I promised to take out the trash.
Okay, wait. That's not according to the grammar, actually.
Right. You have to
That's the
say
problem.
promise 2.
Well,
That was what I was saying.
and
Promise
when
2.
I
The
did a
word
promise, yeah,
big.
promise to wash your windows. So
Oh.
that was my first one. Take out the trash was my first attempt. Now I saw the grammar change. Wash your windows. And then I requested from Theta all their money.
Give me all your money, Theta.
Okay, yeah. That's not right. No. Request from. Ooh. We have a problem with our regex. Okay, so we have a problem with our regex, I think. Okay, Stephen,
Theta saw the request, I see, because it was accepted twice.
Well, is Theta getting it on their screen then? Because that's the only place you can do a reply at the moment. Because
Yeah,
he does
seeing
see
it.
it.
reply button.
He does see it.
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, I don't know what's being accepted. I thought that was well, it's been accepted 3 times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, because
and
it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away and click them. Yeah.
Okay, so what I think is happening, Stephen, is that the regex, which is the thing that tries to match the grammar, is asking, okay, do you have request from, and then a long thing of only word-like characters, which is the public key. Problem is, your public key, if you see, has 2 non-word-like characters. So you have a hyphen and an underscore.
Yeah.
Which are white space characters.
Which are like not normal characters. So this is the problem with doing regex. So basically, Stephen, your app won't work.
Oh, I gotta wash your windows from someone. I'm thanking them.
That's from me.
Right. Other people can see your things because they are not actually matching your public key. I think they are matching theirs. I think that's what's happening.
Theta was able to see my request and accept it. It just didn't get cleared.
Right. And I was able to see his wash windows and thank him.
It's just on my end. It's not. But and where did you guys see my promise and request in the list?
On the promise
in this window?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's unique. It sounds like it's unique to me.
Yeah, it's unique to you. This is what I was trying to say. Like, it's about your public key has these hyphen thingies.
I got it. And then, so
he has an underscore in it.
Mhm.
An underscore is the regex is interpreting the underscore as white space.
Yeah.
Well, I am able to.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know. Is there a way for me to see my key?
It's right there on the screen. It was on your screen.
No, I'm promising to you. That's your key, isn't it?
Sorry.
Oh.
It's the other way around. Okay, so everyone everyone has weird characters. It was actually unfortunate that when I was testing it and developing, I had a uniquely correct public key.
Ah,
Anyway, the app works on the backend and everything that needs to happen, but Regex are dangerous. And this is like a primary example why people, I guess, say that you shouldn't use Regex. I think it's a simple fix. Like it's just interpreting the underscore and hyphens of your public keys and as just the public key itself. So thanks, Steven, for uncovering the bug.
sure. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, you could match the prefix, which is going to be reliable, and then a certain number of characters. Maybe you do, like 32 plus or something.
Yeah, you actually know the character. Maybe it's simpler to not white space. Like we are not matching by white space, we are matching any word-like character. Which is like, no, you should actually match until you get a white space. You consider all of that the public key.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna jump in and say that it's 8 o'clock here. So whatever it is where you are, it's on top of the hour. I want to say thank you to everyone who showed up, and it was a lot of fun to build this. We can, if somebody wants to ask questions and stuff, we can stick around for a little while. If there's things I saw Alex write something in the chat, and so we can do that. But I just want to close it down for everybody who needs to go, and just say thank you to everybody before we do that. And thanks, Art, for coming and sharing. And that was really fun to build. So yeah, thanks everyone.
It's fun to see Guillem in action.
It sure is.
Hopefully it's not boring everyone to death, but yeah, it was so much fun.